Since its inception, the Hinterland Scholarship Program significantly changed the lives of many Indigenous youth in far-flung communities. It is the only grant program that affords them access to quality secondary and tertiary education not available in their districts. In this InfoHub In-Depth, we take a look at the program's history up to the present day.
In 1961, the government at that time, recognizing the importance of education and the need for expanding the skills and knowledge base of our hinterland population, established an Amerindian Scholarship Program. This was then officially instituted the following year. It awarded 6 scholarships to persons who excelled at the Common Entrance Examination, what is now known as the National Grade 6 Assessment, NGSA. In 1976, the program was renamed the Hinterland Scholarship Program to cater for non-Amerindians residing in the hinterland. Senior social worker Rosamond Daly.
We found that nurses and teachers and other persons went into the interior to work and they took their children. So the renaming of the program would have enabled them to access scholarships because they would have written the scholarship under the same conditions as the Amerindians who were living there, and then you found that there were a number of mixed parentage, one Amerindian or another race. So it was renamed the Hinterland Scholarship Program.
While emphasis was placed on secondary education, the program later expanded to include technical and vocational areas. This resulted in students being granted scholarships to attend Carnegie School of Economics, the Government Technical Institute, the Guyana Industrial Institute, and the Burroughs School of Art.
Subsequently, the program increased, the numbers increased, and there was need for more training. So in 1966, the students were selected to attend the Government Technical Institute because at that time there were no institute or technical vocational schools in the interior. And then in 1968, they started selecting for the University of Guyana also. And in 1974, it was the Guyana Industrial Training Center. So the older students were selected for Carnegie, and Guyana School of Agriculture also were included.
In 1997, the Regional Scholarship Program was implemented and allowed for top performers at the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, or CSEC, as it is commonly known, to attend secondary schools within their respective regions. The lone medical doctor at that time and now Minister of Social Cohesion, Dr. George Norton, was a beneficiary of that program. Others included the late Dr. Desiree Fox, a doctor in linguistics and the only Indigenous woman to achieve this level of education. A number of beneficiaries are also serving in various departments of the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs.
The Hinterland Scholarship has started years ago because my brothers and sisters came through the system, and we have people working here, or like Mr. Ovid Williams, who is working now in the ADF department. He is a young 60, I think, or younger than that, and he came through the system. So, and my secretary, for instance, she is from the system. So you have about several of them working here and in different organizations and firms in Guyana. And that has proved that this scholarship program, Hinterland Scholarship Program, is really doing its part in helping to integrate the Indigenous people into mainstream society.
During the period 2000 to 2005, the program benefited over 1,000 hinterland youths. These students completed their secondary education at top schools on the coast, including St. Stanislaus College, President's College, Bishop's High, Queen's College, North Georgetown Secondary, and Anna Regina Multilateral Schools.
The creation of the Hinterland Scholarship Program was one of the measures used to integrate Indigenous peoples into the wider Guyanese society. In addition to providing students the opportunity to access quality education, the program also allows Indigenous youths to experience other cultures and generally life on the coastland.
Successful students from Indigenous communities in all regions are eligible for secondary school scholarships. The secondary aspect of the program is divided into 2 sections: the regional and national scholarships.
Once you get 4 cents, you are eligible for a scholarship. a regional or a national scholarship. For the older students, they apply to the minister or the ministry, and we will select. Sometimes they got 3 subjects or 4 subjects, but again, they might not have maths. So they will do like something at GTI that will help them to get onto university, or those who want to do apply to GSA and need a scholarship. And they have the criteria to get into GSA. Sometimes they need sponsorship, we will do offer them scholarships. There are some of them in communities where you have now, like where the communities are getting the solar panels, electricity, and then there's some, so the young ones like apply to do electrical installation or something, or mason carpentry, all of those things. So when they apply, sometimes for us, we try to collect the older ones, like 16 to just about 17, because the older ones, PSM would do most of the older students.
To date, the institution has provided some 12,000 indigenous students the opportunity to access quality secondary education on the coast and secondary schools within their regions. In 2017, 512 students across the regions accessed the program. 40 students attending schools in Region 1, 39 in Region 2, 10 in Region 3, 170 in Region 4, 10 in Region 6, 41 in Region 7, 8 in Region 8, 96 in Region 9, and 10 in Linden.
Most times, like persons coming from the interior to live in Georgetown, to attend school, and to work, and then maybe they bring their children, they might encounter some difficulty in terms of transportation, housing, and all of that. And then some persons send their children to live with host families, and they also, the children might encounter difficulty at the host family, or sometimes they can't afford to pay whatever it is. So they would approach the ministry or the honorable minister and ask for assistance, like boarding and lodging. And once we have the space, and we don't want to deprive any child of an education or being able to attend school. So we have a number of boarding and lodging, and some of them are partial assistance. They might have not made the requirement at National Grade 6, but again, there's some amount of difficulty. So we give them like an allowance a month to offset transportation or whatever while they're living in Georgetown or some other place in the region.
Successful students benefit from monthly pocket allowance of $4,000 except for August, monthly guardians allowance of $16,000, end of term dorm allowance of $13,500, annual uniform allowance of $10,000, refund registration cost, paid returned transportation cost for August vacation, payment of CSEC and CAPE fees, medical assistance for services not available at public hospitals, assistance for overseas trips once selected. Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs Sidney Allicock reminded that for Guyana to take its proper place on the world stage, it must have an educated nation.
Your government fully appreciates the fact that for Guyana to take its proper place on the world stage, we must have an educated nation, and the President is passionate about that. Much of the resources of the state over the past 3 years have been dedicated to education and training, particularly with young people in mind. Education generally, and this scholarship program in particular, is not a privilege. It is a right, your right. You have exercised your right to an education, and your government has demonstrated its commitment to you by providing the facilities which have so far enabled you to achieve your goals in this regard up to this point.
Minister within the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Valerie Garrido-Lowe, said that the program is a tangible testimony of human capital development within the indigenous fraternity.
More than ever before, we are in need of innovative and brilliant minds. Guyana is at the cusp of economic transformation, which is based on a shift in paradigm into a green state. This means that we, as a nation, have to be creative in our thoughts and our actions as we charter technological advancements that are eco-friendly and cost-efficient. Our country has recently added to its list of natural resources oil as a result of the recent oil find in our territory. The economic implication of such discovery is immense. Our economy will be stimulated and more industries will be required to service the needs of the country. This is where your expertise and knowledge will be needed as jobs will be made available, albeit on a more competitive basis.
The Hinterland Student Dormitory at Liliendal plays a major role in the execution of the Hinterland Scholarship Program. Commissioned in 2011, the dormitory accommodates recipients of national scholarships to attend schools in Georgetown, with the exception of those who were awarded placement at President's College.
The Hinterland Dormitory currently accommodates approximately 86 students who attend some of the top schools in Georgetown, including Queen's College, Bishop's High, St. Joseph High, St. Rose's High, St. Stanislaus College, Brigham Secondary, and Christ Church Secondary Schools. The students are cared for by 3 house parents, a nurse, cooks, cleaners, and a laundress, a senior social worker, a welfare officer, and 2 student affairs officers. Transportation is provided to take the students to and from school. The house parents also attend Parent-Teachers Association meetings for each student. Apart from their regular day-to-day routine, the students are also involved in extracurricular activities. They are actively involved in various sports, including football and volleyball. Last year, the ministry introduced music and chess at the dormitories, and computers are also installed in the library. Extra lessons are also provided for the students. The students also maintain their culture by regularly participating in cultural activities. This year, they placed first at the Mashramani Costume and Float Parade. Other students on the coast are accommodated at the President's College Dormitory in Golden Grove, East Coast, Demerara, and dormitory facilities at schools in Regions 2, 6, and 10. Students attending schools in the Hinterland are housed at dormitory facilities at the Northwest and Port Kaituma Secondary Schools in Region 1, Waramadong and 3 Miles Secondary Schools in Region 7, Madia and Paramakatoy Secondary in Region 8, St. Ignatius and Sand Creek in Region 9. This year, the largest batch of 122 students graduated from the Hinterland Scholarship Program. Graduating were 91 secondary level students, 23 students at the technical and tertiary level, and 8 students who completed the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination. They spoke of how the program has impacted their lives.
When I first learned about the scholarship, I was enthusiastic about it. It opened me up to great things, meet new people from different different regions, and interact more. That was great. And to far my side, that was something they did for me.
I'm very privileged to be a part of it. I think it's a very good initiative. It gives students a chance to improve the quality of education that they receive, and I think it really offers great assistance to parents.
This graduation ceremony, it gave me encouragement that if we continue to do better and good, that they'll be wired somewhere, and I'm grateful for everything that the Hinterland Scholarship has done.
The HSP program recorded a 91% pass rate at Cape, with 59 passes with grades 1 to 4 and 90.1% passes at CSEC. This was against an 83.3% pass rate in 2016 to 2017. Queen's College fourth formers Reseda Hack and Kanisha Primo also secured distinctions in mathematics. Guyana's number 2 junior chess player Nelisa Johnson, who represented Guyana at the 4th Carifta Junior Chess Championship in Suriname, was also recognized.
We must remember, however, that an accomplishment can no longer be a goal. You've already accomplished that. You must go back to the drawing board and set yourselves new goals. Do not wallow for too long in your recent accomplishments. You must move forward resolutely, knowing that your country depends heavily on you and your individual and collective achievements. You heard Minister Lowe elaborating on those things. Don't waste your precious time. Guyana needs you and needs you sane. A country's richest asset are its citizens. We must all do our bit to build Guyana. We must market Guyana to the world. We must own Guyana. We are all ambassadors of Guyana. Who we become is a reflection of where we came from and what we represent. Let us together commit to ensuring that when we leave this earth, and I want you to think about that, when we leave Mother Earth, we leave behind a country better than the one we met, meaning that we have to take care of one another and the environment where real life exists. Nelson Mandela said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. You are the agents of change for the better." The government has embarked upon the development of a strong civil service. You have the opportunity to equip yourselves with the knowledge to allow this country to have the best for its people.
Minister Valerie Garrido-Low urged students to return to their communities and serve.
We have to recognize that our communities need our input and expertise. We need more educators, health workers, professional agriculturists, engineers, business people, and more. The Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs has been tirelessly doing its part and will continue to push harder for real-time development of our peoples. Currently, there are several economic projects that are being rolled out in various regions. We need technical and qualified people to carry these initiatives to the highest levels. We will continue to provide an environment that is conducive to economic empowerment of our peoples, thereby making them earn for themselves and their families. The road ahead is not going to be an easy one. Life by default is filled with challenges and setbacks. But the beauty is that those challenges and setbacks are solvable. They make life interesting and worth living. All we have to do is educate, thereby equipping ourselves with the tools to etch a way forward. True education manifests itself in our ability to relate to each other in the spirit of mutual respect and camaraderie. I therefore encourage you to be bold, to be kind, be determined, and highly optimistic about your future.
The Hinterland Scholarship Program not only empowers and enhances the individual lives of the students, but also has a significant impact on their respective communities.
Indeed, the reintegration of any skilled or qualified individual into the hinterland communities can significantly influence its economic enhancement. Imagine being the only trained indigenous teacher or medical doctor serving your community. These professionals are also in a better position to serve their communities' residents because they understand the culture of the people. Minister Garrido-Low tells us how the Hinterland Scholarship Program has produced many skilled personnel now serving the hinterland communities.
This scholarship program, Hinterland Scholarship Program, is really doing its part in helping to integrate the indigenous people into mainstream society, because after educating them, exposing them to, let's say, city life and so on, eventually they get a job right here And some of them go back into the region and in the regions, and they're able to perform in positions like REOs and regional chairmen and accountants and those things. So I think it's very, very beneficial for not only indigenous but hinterland students. When they come and get their scholarship, they get a chance to step up higher and serve their country in a nice position they can feel proud of. Some go off like Ovid and become pilots and so on. Some go off and become doctors, because some of our indigenous hinterland students have studied in Cuba. So we have some still studying in Cuba. Many of them are doctors today. Many of them are nurses today.
Apart from utilizing their professional skills, many serve in the capacity of village captains, counselors, secretaries, treasurers, community development officers, and regional officers.
My major subject was law. I'm majoring in law, well, my associate degree in law, which will be continued at the university in September.
I was in the science stream, and I think it was very fascinating because I want to be a medical doctor, because I want to ensure that my villagers are, safe.
There are also those indigenous pilots, lawyers, and even accountants who are products of the program. Many serve at the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, the agency responsible for ensuring Amerindians are brought into the mainstream of national development. There are also those technically skilled individuals attending technical institutes who are studying to become carpenters, mechanics, and masons. This will eliminate the need to transport skilled individuals to the communities. It also means that community infrastructure will be developed at a cheaper cost, and the money will be circulated in the communities. Equipment will be better maintained. It also means that jobs will be created and communities will thrive.
Over the years, the Hinterland Scholarship Program has borne fruit, as many teachers, doctors, lawyers, engineers, and agriculturalists have returned to their regions and are serving in their respective communities. This, in turn, has contributed to the development of the hinterland villages. The scholarship remains a testimony to the commitment to ensure every child receives quality primary, secondary, and tertiary education. This brings us to the end of another edition of InfoHub In Depth. Thanks for watching, and do join us again next week. Goodbye.